My name is Victor Ochen. I am the director for African Youth Initiative Network, which is called AYINET in short. It's a Ugandan organization that was founded 20 years ago in 2005 when we were living in the conflict of the LRA in northern Uganda. So today we are celebrating a long journey to where we are. I'm grateful that we are celebrating our 20th anniversary of AYINET, our 20 years in peace building, 20 years in mediation, 20 years in restoring dignity and hope for the survivors of injustices.
Kenywalan komanko ini tipa aduil elare ena go tiare ni koma ma ke mara ke gangwa ina mokora ka ber ma ke luone gili Ochen mara ale wario kario yo karma dong ke maro an chike woro kede lum ma la tin modor an ni an la moy chio mio gien timare ni koman.
To begin with, meeting John changed my life. Ochola John, I met him in 2004, 2 years after he had been injured by the Lord Resistance Army. From when I met with him, I saw a brother who had gone through turmoils of conflict. I saw a human being who was ripped of dignity. He was deformed. He had unhealed, untreated wounds from the mutilation that was done by the rebels of the Lord Resistance Army.
I karaman dong be bedo ke kelani wariat da bedo wariat a chaka no kony matino tino kibo dano machiel kaneno an wariat karama dong ana bino ke berga mena tam keto mera ko kede piena anda du dano magoro ni no mo chiel arwade ke la dit magiluoni Ochen Victor ma eno no achi wai yal in miro katwere kala ba yang yi ko na me na ko ni lebun mo ma ngi na ram ko ne
I imagine the pain and horror and stress and trauma that John was going through. I was powerless. I asked myself, how much can one go through and still survive? I was heartbroken. I was tortured. But I saw John. I became so powerless. At the same time also, I felt humbled that even though people like John has been through too much, he's still moving on, moving forward, despite the despair, despite the destruction, despite the atrocities and injustice. I started looking at myself as, I have been through too much. I'm suffering, I'm in pain, I've lost even the family members. But people like John look up to me for support. And I accepted the responsibility that I will not let down any victim of war, that my action can change their life. And that was the reason, as I told John, that I want us to work together. I'll come back and we shall see what we can do together. I hope I'll contribute towards your healing and your regaining of your dignity.
Chu bere bene an bene wiya wilo sha ne na chiel mo ka gona chinga John ti kwena awa ana tiga bin karwa de kedi in amerne in bin ti bora chanda wa ya e ba do cha ti chen gino ma maram lo ko pat pe an bu bino cha joining teach ma eno yabo ma nying organization na giluone AYINET ma ber ka tich maber.
John told me that his wish was that his child should have seen him before the mutilation, but that dream never came true. His firstborn child came in after he had just gone through the atrocities. So all his children missed seeing how beautiful, how handsome he was. And I thought, maybe because of this he's angry. And he said, yes, I'm angry. I'm angry because something that John said to me that touched my heart was when he said that the devil who caught me after I was falsely accused that I was a soldier, when the rebels were mutilating me, they were torturing me, they were beating me, I begged them that now that you have cut off my ears, my lips, my nose, and you want to cut off my hands, would you be kind enough to leave me at least with one hand to help me? They didn't listen to that.
Juana, mi bera gonya ketano yang ana tikere ma don kede. No, adon ma be. Ma ana no ni. At least nentala de don gwa ma ki kwa ma yot. Si kwa ma ana ti ye no bera ma tere. Yang na kwa ma be. Ento pa bera gonya e kara ma ki wano an a bera ga rem. Ki dong a bera ma ikom joma geno timare nye komani chunya po bedo yom ikom gi no atwe ogene chunya waje ni an kayang no gena kitine tie no arambe chulu gene no ni piani obala ko ana kitano mira ana don kede chidong karama kitimare nye koma dano mi na tam keda karo ke training maduong magilua ken mejinga chuin dano ken me timo kija wega ber free chio mio atia gonya kuberi chao ne piene AYINET o mine wa training ma o wega anatia gonya.
So that changed my life, and I said, yeah, there are many Johns in the communities. Let us help this John, and we can work together to help other people. When I asked him that, would you join us and work with AYINET as a counselor? And John was reserved a bit, and he told me, I'm not educated enough. How can I work with you, yet I'm not educated enough? And I told him, I really don't care your level of education. Because if it was about education, myself, I wouldn't be talking to you here. To me, it's not about the degree, it's not about your level of education, but it's about your heart. And for this particular case, John, your story, your testimony, your struggle, your pain, your suffering, your courage is an opportunity for us to heal ourselves in order to heal other people. So I said, come and work together. And then John said, okay, if that's so, I'll come and work with you. And he became the most commendable staff, one of the best staffs I had. Dedicated, committed, loyal, hardworking, and he would go far deep ends of the crisis in the society. Even his arrival alone in the community, talking to people who have been through too much, would humble other people. I always felt so humbled by John. To me, he's a brother that changed my life. Helping him became a springboard for me to help other people.
Kikin gang kain dano gen chwalo an mabe pagidag an yan keta gen te anano ke an kereni dano mukena giluor an gingeo ni an no chunya chol ento ananeno dano weng roma che gang kin gang kain ma ko ni atia gonya dano chwalo mabe atia ke jirani mabe je bene magino mo maraj pe gin gwa gang mabe bene kan kana pe an bene neno ma ka gin pe bene gwa gang gi me roma chi kwana ano ti mayor kin jirani magang mame wakan keta ba bedo kede we ko ma ini bedo ma ki chwin maraj chomiyo ku bedo anti agonya gino mo ma ana paro peke beda gonya ki bara ana no enu gino mo iker ngata chunya to romane ana rama chira amino tam ki beda gonya.
I remember meeting Michael. AYINET was very poor. We didn't even have a car. We had a motorbike. And one day we set off from Lira office to go to Pader. We got to this school called Lira Paluo, and our motorbike broke. And then as we were trying to repair the motorbike, one of the children who were playing in the camp, also the school was in the camp, in the IDP camp, came and was asking, now that your motorbike is broken, where are you going to sleep? And then I asked them, said, do you know of any person who is somebody who is wounded as a result of war? And then they said, yes, we know a child called Michael. And I said, can we take you there? And then I said, yes. And then I reached home. I saw Michael's father sitting. And then he asked, who are you? I introduced myself. And I said, I want to see a child called Lotema Michael. And then he pointed, said, it's over there. A broken house. The house that was already unroofed, actually was a toilet, a pit latrine. So he was dumped in there. I went on the phone, a little baby, lying in the green leaves, and flies were all over. I said, this is a human being. He looked at me, frail, starved, sick, and dirty. I carried him. I walked with him towards the father. The father asked me, where are you going with him? I said, I want to take him to the hospital. And then he said, I'm not going to the hospital. And I said, I'm going to take him to the hospital. I said, if you're taking him, take him on your own. I said, I have done everything as a father to help this child, but nothing has happened. I have not been able to help him. I'm tired. When he was tortured, he was the only survivor of an attack that killed 24 other people, including his own mother.
An kilwonya no ta Michael sulkan ma kwana yani kilwoni dera palbo senior secondary school jiba atie machalo sha passion palagora school guy ana ya maro lok pole piane dan machalo ane tuata ken mukane an bana no mogo arara kegi mogo beno gitika chimutoge so kado ngana no winyo ngatomo tikalo ko ngatomo ni achara tamo ka wachune yani eno gen mano do bando yo karma shon no kuona pemaraj no kuona timaraj yani no arembe no tie mano an kikoni kerewa jomagangwa no pibinyo mabe kido ikarani anda no ati mabe piando atika kwan ana beri ken dano la bo yela
Michael stayed in my house for some days. We were cleaning him up, washing his wounds, making sure everything are clean and all those things. Then a week after we went to the to the bus to Kampala. We got to Kampala, the money was over. The money was over. And then they referred, the first thing they told me that this child's leg should be amputated because he was shot, he was wounded, he had septic discharge from his thighs from 4 different spots. And I told the doctor, said, no, we cannot amputate, we can do something. They said, we are the doctors, why are you advising us on what to do? So they wanted to amputate the little boy's leg, and I refused. Hanging around Kampala, I ran out of money. Even money for my transport back. I sold my phone, my mobile phone. I used that mobile phone money to transport me and Michael back to Lira. I came back to Lira. Michael stayed in my house again. Even when I was here, he was sick, rejected, but my family welcomed him. And then I talked to a doctor here in Lira. And the doctor said, yeah, I can work on this child, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. I don't know if you have that money. I said, doctor, please do. I think he spent 3 months in the hospital. The bail was just unbearable. I was running around looking for money to pay for other patients, but Michael was also my top priority. So let's save this child's life. And then in 2010, early 2010, he recovered. He would come and play football. And I called the father to come and check. From that moment, I found Michael. He has been my child. I made sure we treated him to heal, to regain his dignity, to become functional in the society. I always told him that, Michael, one day you'll be a leader in this country. You'll heal, and you'll help other people to heal. So when he started gaining interest in education, I started paying him in school as a little boy. Today, Michael is in secondary, almost completing his secondary education.
I'm a child of God. Don't atia gonya. Me kuoke dano. Igang kwan kany. Gua ki gang kuya. Podong ke da yo mabe. Be dong kuoke re yo mabe. Le bon ket sim tok mo. Ancha la garo ke gang tij mo tie ma pedong ke mia bana temo mo tie bana aforo bana ge na bon kera yera mo ana twa dong tie an gen madan dong temo an beda temo abino kanano dilo mano dano duongi yomo kan kera tie meno kichung to keranyer waro kere mano ger no be o chwer chunyar no yan pedang tidiar mo miartin beragonya pero ma pero mano etikituero metimo mo ke kan la boy dit mo.
Just like Michael and John, their stories are similar. They are very innocent people who have gone through severe atrocities of conflict. There are many children like them in the world today. But Michael is now a focal point person for the people with disability in the society. Just as John too. John is also the focal point person in the local council leadership, is a leader leading and working for the right of people who are disabled. So we talk about freedom. Both Michael and John expressed that to them, freedom would mean your right is rediscovered. You're free from pain. You're free from suffering. And you're also free from the threats. But you have your rights. You're able to do certain things to help other people. That to them is what freedom means. think this is where the story of Michael and John should be eye-openers, not only to those in the world of freedom fighters, but in the world of authorities. You make decisions that hurts the innocent people, and we wonder why there is always the generational transfer of trauma. I think John may not ask that question today, but his children will ask that question in future. Why did you suffer the way you are? And why is that other people did not care? To me, freedom would mean being able to stand up for what is right, regardless of the outcome. And that's the decision I made from day one, that I will stand up to protect, to advocate, and care for people who suffered in the hand of those who did not care. That has been my motivation. That has been the work we have done with AYINET. And for the last 20 years, we've provided medical and psychosocial rehabilitation, healing to people like John and Michael. At least 25,000 of them have gone through our hands. They have regained their dignity, they are back in school, and they are all able to contribute to the larger societal development. That is our undertaking as AYINET, and that to me, that's what freedom means. When we can stand firm, be free from pain, be free from fear, but stand up for what is good, not only for me, but for other people as well.